season, and it couldn't get much better than this. We are underway here in Birmingham. Nice pass down court. Mullins catches it. What a finish as well through the contact.
Rob has to heave it here. Can't get hold of the ball. Does get it away and backs it in. Hatters in full flow right now. Kick to the corner. Harrison for three. Got it and one. And the celebrations can begin.
Now we won the trophy.
The Sheffield Hatters are the Betty Cadona Trophy champions. It is the Lions era against the defending champions, the Newcastle Eagles. 40 minutes to decide who's the champion. Jack has long ahead of him. Fjell finds Cole long for the Jack. The Dormu open for three and he knocks it down. Brown attacks the rim and jams it in. He's hit it! Cole long for three! And the London Lions have the silverware in their hands for 2026 Super League Basketball Trophy champions, the London Lions.
I mean, it has been an incredible journey. You know, looking back at it, I never thought I was going to be here for that long. I came here to study. I got involved with basketball through university, National League, and then the opportunity to coach the Flyers in September 2005. It's just incredible, and it's something that I'm very privileged to do for as many years as I've been doing it, and I never take it for granted. You know, sometimes with those things, oh, it's another season. Well, it's not. It means a lot to me. Grew up in Greece, from Athens, and I came here to study September 1999 at the University of Bath, study economics. It was, you know, I played basketball back home, and I wanted the opportunity to study in the UK education environment. I had a great time there. 5-6 years I was able to coach the university team there for men and women, and it's something I wasn't expecting. I came in, I remember my first experience of the sports was getting to Bath and seeing the netball post, and I didn't know what netball was because we don't play that in Greece. And I got involved in coaching straight away in my first year, and I think everything else snowballed from there. You know, I've been here for 26 years, and now I'm longer in the UK than I have when I was growing up in Greece. You know, I spent 18 years of my life there. You know, built a home here. Bristol is home for me. You know, with my wife Ursula, you know, we have built a life here, and yeah, I think it's something now that I can proudly say that I've been here longer than I've actually my time in Greece. It's always very difficult to pinpoint one specific moment. I think it's a number. I mean, our first year as Filton Flyers, I think us winning the league and winning the playoffs, I think that team is the team that started it all. So many memories, and where I have to summarize it in just, you know, a few moments. So yeah, it's just the thing with the overall theme of this is basketball has been a vehicle for me to build a life in the UK, and I have made long-time friendships, and I always have to pinch myself almost a little bit to have the pleasure to be doing what it is, and it is a real pleasure. There's always challenges, you know, a lot of different things in terms of challenges, but I'm really grateful, deeply grateful to have the opportunity to be with the club and to be here in Bristol. I'm a humble guy. You know, I'm hardworking, and I think you know, it's great to hear people when they think of Bristol Flyers, they think of me. But like, all this will not happen if you don't have a number of people. Sometimes, you know, on the court, off the court. So the reality is, you know, I always kind of go back to how privileged I am what I do. I'm so thankful to people for the amount of effort, some of them in volunteer capacity, all our current coaches, some of our team managers in our GM program. I'm really thankful for those people and for everyone that has contributed to be where we are right now. And I think we will not be able to achieve that. As they say, it's strength in numbers. It's the people that you have around you. That's how you build the program. When I first started, I would not think I would still be doing it. So it's very difficult to think too far ahead. But certainly, I think we've built something special here in Bristol, and you know, hopefully with my involvement, but also whenever the time comes when I'm not going to be involved, I want it to keep on growing and getting bigger. And certainly, I think that long-term legacy, the aspiration for the club to get as big as possible domestically and also in European competition, I think that's what really drives us, motivates us. So.
Super League basketball is levelling up British youths. This isn't just a league, it's a movement you can feel and see in the stands. From the first tip to the final buzzer, the story is written. Every drive, every shot, and every moment. Rivalries run deeper, games hit harder. One pass, one dunk, everything can shift. Legacies aren't given here, they're earned. New stories are ready, and new champions are coming. Season 2 is here. Stand tall for British basketball.
Welcome back to the SGS College Arena here in Bristol, where we are at half-time in the second leg of the playoff quarter-final. Bristol Flyers with a slender 1-point lead in this one. They're down by 2 on aggregate, and Gareth, it's been a real back and forth first half between these two teams, but a couple of players who have really stood out for either team have been Will Yoakum and of course Max Jones.
Yeah, Max Jones, 14 points for him. 4 of 7 from behind the arc, 57%. Almost like a quiet 14 points. We watched DJ Mitchell going about his business, but this man here, Will Yoakum, having himself a game. 100% field goal percentage, 4 for 4 for 3, 2 for 2 from 2-point range. Unbelievable stats for 18 points.
He's having a perfect game so far out there for the Flyers, but his side still trailing by 2 on aggregate. And again, still 20 minutes left in this tie. Plenty of time for either team to punch their ticket to the semi-finals.
Yeah, set up nicely for the next 20 minutes of basketball. We've got an engaged crowd, tight game. It really could go any way right now.
Now, fasten your seatbelts, folks. Second half is underway. Here's Jones, guarded by Holden. Takes the screen from Nicholson. Shot goes up, it's way off the mark. And Manchester with an air ball to open the second half. Here's Holden. He's being guarded by Nicholson here. Interesting matchup. Adedekase almost got hands on it. Ball goes into McCormack, out to Holden. Holden thought about the 3, puts it on the floor. McCormack, he will shoot the 3. No good that time. Rebound Adedekase. Here's Jones. Screen comes from Nicholson. Jones still has it. Guarded by Holden here. Ball goes out to Mitchell. Here comes a corner 3-ball. No good that time. Offensive rebound by Manchester. And Smith can't get the finish. Here come Bristol now the other way. Ball into Cam Christen, who lays it up and in. And once again here, Gareth, we're tied on aggregate.
Yeah, and it's that transition again. Manchester being caught. Christen this time running. Just rim to rim. And easy as you like down the middle. The pass from Cam Holden for the layup.
Smith, guarded by McCormack. Foul is called there as it's going to send Smith to the line to shoot two. It's going to be called on Cam Christen.
Yeah, Cam Christen with the contact. Smith Jr. looking to get that shot as he's driving through the paint. And that's Cam Christen. That's his third foul. So it looks like Coach Capillis is going to go to his bench early as Evan Walsh looks to set to check in, and that'll be a bit of a blow for the Bristol Flyers.
Well, he spoke about foul trouble in the first leg. Of course, Cam Holden was battling foul trouble. This leg is Cam Christen, so he will check out. Evan Walsh comes back into the game, and PJ Smith Jr., after knocking down his second free throw, makes way for Jordan Johnson.
Yeah, looks like Smith Jr. get a bit of treatment on the bench there, so we'll keep an eye on that one.
Here's Walsh. Yoakum coming off the screen, another 3-ball. That's off the mark, and that's Will Yoakum's first miss of the afternoon. It's a good look by Yoakum. Here's Jones, guarded by Anderson. Mitchell calling for it inside, good D inside by Yoakum. Added to Cassie for 3, no good. Rebound bobbles around, but ends up with Zach Anderson. Anderson downhill, out to McCormack. Yoakum now, he puts it on the floor. Skip pass to Walsh. Anderson comes out to the corner. Thought about the 3, pulls it back out. Shot clock is at 10. Holden out to McCormack. He likes it out there at the 3-point line, but puts it on the floor and almost got it to go. And gets called for the foul on the rebound.
Yeah, he obviously caught in two minds there, McCormack. Had the opportunity to shoot the 3, went to the bucket. And a nice little step through. But they're just with the foul there on Jones, helping him to off his feet. Yeah, a bit of not the best start from either team offensively. Some good looks.
Well, if you just joined us, Manchester led by as many as 13 points in this second leg. It was 16 on aggregate at one point, and Bristol rallied their way back into it. Right now it's Flyers leading by 1, trailing by 2 on aggregate. Johnson out to Adita Cassie. Here's Johnson once again. Guarded by Walsh. Nicholson comes up to set the screen. Still with Johnson. Has McCormack on him this time, and Jordan Johnson with the mid-range too.
Incredible from Johnson. Instrumental, wasn't he? Just calling for the screen. Knew exactly what he wanted to do.
Walsh skip pass to Anderson. Here's Holden, who winds up from downtown. He strings it, and with Matt Nicholson guarding Holden, almost inviting him to shoot that triple.
Yeah, and Campbell crank it up, give him enough time. He's got a decent shot from 3.
Jones the other end, can't get the 3 to go. Offensive rebound by Nicholson. Adds it to Cassie now with another opportunity. That didn't touch the rim, so shot clock's at 8. Johnson, another 3-ball on the way, is good for Jordan Johnson, who scored the last 5 points for Manchester.
Yeah, he's such a dangerous player offensively, Johnson. Really getting himself into the game now. So difficult to stop, Joel. That ball, those crossovers, just creates that space, that separation. Cassie with the third. Sorry, Joel.
I was about to say there, he's almost taking my job away from me there, Gareth. Third personal on Tim Adita-Cassie. Here's Holden. How about another 3? Oh, he had faked the commentator as well. Yoakum, he puts it on the floor, pulls up for a mid-range 2, is short. Holden on the offensive rebound, puts it in off the glass. And once again, Bristol leading by 1 here on the afternoon. Johnson, nowhere to go, finds Mitchell. He's guarded by Walsh. Mitchell into the paint, spins, scoops it up, high off the glass, rolls around, and got the drop, and has a few words for the Bristol Flyers bench back on defense as well.
Did he like that move, didn't he? It was a great move from Mitchell. Again, another look to the Bristol Flyer bench.
McCormack sets the screen, slips to the basket. Walsh downhill, hands by Mitchell. He gets called for the foul. And Darnell Brody will check back in. Owen McCormack will take a seat.
It's Mitchell's second foul.
Evan Walsh, 6 points on Thursday night in that first leg. We'll head to the line. Able to knock down the first. Ties this game back up here. And at what point, Gareth, do both of these teams start to look at the aggregate sort of midway point now in the third quarter? I guess it's not really until the last 5 minutes or so.
Well, I think you're always going to be aware of it. You always know it's there, and you're always kind of sort of totting up. I mean, there's only 3 points, so it doesn't take an awful lot of totting up to see whereabouts you are, but there's not really much kind of you can do about it really to get down to the sort of final minutes of the game where it becomes really important if it's still close.
Well, here's Smith Jr. back into the game after a quick stint on the bench, receiving some treatment. Ball goes into Mitchell. Mitchell guarded by Yoakum. Mitchell puts it up. Can't get it to go. Nicholson with the offensive rebound is fouled by Brody. And I believe that'll be Darnell Brody's fourth personal foul. Or third personal foul even, I beg your pardon. As the table official holds the number 3 up. And now send Matt Nicholson to the line. Nicholson, 6.6 rebounds per game for Manchester during the SLB regular season. 46% from the line. So by the numbers, not a particularly bad player to foul from Bristol perspective as he misses the first free throw. Second one no good as well. And Bristol looking to push here. Holden fakes the handoff with Walsh. Holden backing down in the low post into a double team. Cam Holden with the turnaround hook. Brody with the offensive rebound. Good hands by Irvin to knock the ball loose. Smith out to Mitchell. Thought about the three. Guarded by Anderson. Mitchell with a step back three. No good that time. Rebound bobbles around. But it's pointing it towards Manchester. And I think Cam Holden almost let that one go out of bounds there, thinking it'll be last touched by a Manchester player. But
yeah, the reactions of the players, you'd seem to think so, but the referee's happy with that. No need to talk about it. We're fairly sure it's Manchester ball.
Johnson inbounds, finds Smith with the mid-range two, is short, but chases down his own rebound though. Mitchell, Smith, extra time to shoot the three, can't get it to go. And Manchester, a couple of opportunities there for Manchester to put it in, and then Johnson fouls Holden at the other end.
You can see on the break what happened as Cam Holden was off, sort of stepping across, and yeah, I'm not sure what the surprise was about, whether it was the way he went to the floor or, but it certainly didn't feel like there was an opportunity to nick the ball away. Sideline ball, Bristol.
A bit of break in play here while the wet patch on the court is mopped up. And Bristol holding on to that 1 point lead on the afternoon. They need to win by 3 or more. If they do win by 3, it will send this game into overtime. And of course, a place in the SLB semi-finals up for grabs. Manchester, after reaching 2 major finals this season, they won't want to exit the playoffs in the first round. And for Bristol, their home form has deteriorated towards the back end of the regular season. They need to find a way to win at home here this afternoon. And they need to win by 4 or more. Here's Cam Holden. Yoakum slips back door. Holden has it once again. Skip pass out to Walsh, who just couldn't quite keep it in bounds, and Coach Kapoulis won't be happy with his team's possession there.
Yeah, every possession's going to be vital, and just that cross-court pass over Evan Walsh's head. We'll try and get a shot every offence. And that will just build up the frustration on the Bristol Flyers bench.
Shelton finds Mitchell. Mitchell takes the screen from Shelton. Shelton rolls to the basket. Smith in the corner for three, overcooks it, and the rebound with Anderson. Anderson, Walsh, open inside, bets it into Delpesh though. Looking to back down on Mitchell. He pulls it back out into the hands of Joachim. Ball into Delpesh, who was wide open inside. And Bristol Flyers working that two-man game.
And Delpesh coming off the bench straight away into the thick of the action. That's another 2 points.
Johnson looking inside for Shelton, gets it through. And Manchester giving Bristol a taste of their own medicine with that two-man game.
Yeah, straight back at you, Shelton. I love the way the energy he brings. And that's a great pass. Johnson to find him in the paint.
It's Walsh. Screen comes from Delpesh into a double team. Shelton does well to knock it loose. Ball goes into Delpesh and Johnson gets hands on it. It will be a Manchester ball. Last touch by Marcus Delpesh.
Great play from Johnson on that size mismatch. Able to get quick hands in, knock it away off of Delpesh. Get that turnover.
You can see there the fast break points differential. And that's where Bristol really did damage in that second quarter. And really since then, this game really has slowed down in pace. Mitchell thought about the three, gets it through to Jones. Jones guarded by Brown. Mitchell seeps out to the three-point line. Jones for three. Back iron, no good. Two players boxing out. Ball goes off the inside of the backboard. And the officials are going to talk it through here, who it last came off of, but the ball came off the inside of the backboard, which is deemed as out of bounds, so it will be a Bristol Flyers ball. Flyers now a chance to tie on aggregate if they can get a two, or perhaps take a lead if they can knock down a three here. 2.5 minutes to go in the third. Walsh, Delpesh slips to the basket. Walsh inside, no good. Delpesh again active on the offensive glass. Turnaround hook is short, and Shelton does well to tip it to Johnson. Johnson looking in transition for Irvin. Great pass. Irvin can't finish, and Bristol Flyers looking to push the other way. Joachim's open on the wing, gets it back from Brown. Delpesh comes up to set the screen once again. So we triple past the 2-minute point in this third quarter. McCormack puts it on the floor, gets it knocked loose, and again active hands by Manchester to knock it out of bounds and retake possession.
Yeah, again a bit more frustration for Bristol coming up without a shot on that offense, and Coach Kapoulis opted to bring Cam Christen back in. It's a little bit of foul trouble for him, but it just feels offensively he needs
ball inside to Shelton, who floats it up and in with two hands. And Manchester retake the lead here in the game. 58 points to 57. Here's Brown. Screen comes from Delpesh. Brown finding Walsh, back to Brown. Offense just seems to have slowed up here for the Bristol Flyers. Brown into the lane, can't get the floater to go. There was a great look by Flyers, and Manchester can push once again. Oh my goodness, denied by Joachim. And Flyers now looking to push. Walsh downhill, kicks it out. Three-pointer on the way. It's good by Jonathan Brown. What a sequence that was. End-to-end stuff. Bristol turning defense into offense.
Yeah, great defensive play from Will Joachim with the block. Sort of not added offensively to his tally, but big defensive play like that. Saving 2 points, and that sets the transition off for Bristol.
Johnson for three. There's a foul called before the shot. It's going to be called on 77, Evan Walsh. Foul on the floor, say the officials. So Manchester will inbound from the sideline. But that'll be Bristol's fourth team foul. So they are in the penalty now for the rest of the way in this period. And a bunch of changes coming in for Coach Kapoulis' side. Cam Christen, as you mentioned, on foul trouble, back into the game. Marcus Delpesh takes a seat. There's Zach Anderson, Omar McCormack, both back in. Final minute of the third. Johnson splits the D. Johnson downhill. Nice move. Can't get the finish. It did everything but drop through the bottom of the net. Holden backing down inside. Fakes it once, twice. Anderson wide open for three. Strings it. And Bristol Flyers once again lead by 2 on aggregate.
And off the bench, Holden, Anderson and Kristen combining for that three-pointer. Some instant offense from Coach Kapoulis, making those changes.
Mitchell deep three. No good that time. There's a foul called away from the ball. It's going to be called against Manchester on the rebound. And that'll be a 4th team foul on Manchester. And Bristol here, with the shot clock turned off, will wind this one down for one final shot. And a chance to extend this lead in aggregate, perhaps going into the 4th quarter.
A couple of changes, Nicholson coming in. As Shelton still discussing that last foul with the referee. Added a Cassie in for Mitchell.
Well, this is the moment here, Gareth, where you feel that home court advantage can really take its toll. If Bristol can hold on to this aggregate lead going into the 4th quarter, that'll be a huge psychological boost for the Flyers going into the final 10 minutes.
Yeah, still an awful lot of basketball to go. It's going to have some ups and downs for either team.
Final possession here of the 3rd quarter. JB gets it up over the timeline. Shot clock is turned off. Ball comes off the foot, and Johnson comes away with the steal. 3 seconds to go. Johnson puts it up, puts it in on the buzzer, and Manchester get the stop they needed. That'll do it for the end of the 3rd quarter. We are tied on aggregate as the teams go into the final 10 minutes. And Gareth, you can't call this second leg. Everything that Manchester have thrown at the Flyers have a response. And likewise, Manchester have a response for everything that Bristol Flyers seem to come up with.
Yeah, it's really going to come down to the wire here. Johnson with a massive play. And Bristol, again, frustrations. The last shot of the game, 7 seconds, turnover ball. Johnson goes length of the court, puts it in for 2. And it's going to be just those small margins that are going to make a big difference in this game as we're all tied up on aggregate.
Well, here's a look at the numbers in this game so far this afternoon. Manchester won't be happy with their free throw percentage, 4 for 11 as we enter the 4th quarter. Bristol winning that rebound battle, 33 points to 24. You take a look at some of the key plays in that 3rd quarter that Bristol were able to edge, 17 points to 15. Jordan Johnson started to really get it going from deep in that period. And, as you say, everything that everyone went on their run, and then the run was stopped, and JB able to knock down that 3. Bristol Flyers led by as many as 7 points on the night. Anderson hit the 3 to tie things up on aggregate. And this was the crucial play in the final possession, a turnover by Flyers. Johnson with the 2. Could have easily been an and 1 in there perhaps as well.
Sure, a tough shot. Johnson over the outstretched McCormack. That's a big play, and you felt that helped them going into the quarter break. A bit of momentum, and Jonathan Brown still discussing that. I think he felt the ball was kicked, and that's what led to the turnover. But that's done. 63 plays 60.
Well, 10 minutes left in this one. One of these teams will advance to the semi-finals, and the other team's season will end here this afternoon. 4th quarter underway. McCormack fakes the 3, takes the 3, makes the 3! And Bristol Flyers with the triple to open the 4th quarter, and once again retake the lead in aggregate. Jones out to Johnson, thought about the 3, he's got Holden on him, 5 on the shot clock, pulls up for a mid-range 2, is short, and Zach Anderson with the rebound. And Bristol Flyers, another chance to extend this lead here perhaps. Holden thought about the 3, will take the 3, and will make the 3. 2 straight 3s back to back for Bristol to open the 4th quarter. The roof's exploded here at the Wise campus. Timeout Manchester.
Yeah, momentum with Bristol recovering from that turnover at the end of the quarter. Back-to-back threes. And this crowd are feeling it. They're getting warmed up now. What's the response from Manchester? You just can't rule them out for sure. There's still plenty of time in this game.
And Cam Holden, not typically a three-point shooter, but you have to respect the three. And on that occasion, you can see what it means to him, knocking down the triple to put Bristol up by 9 on the afternoon, as Cam Holden now gets himself up to 13 points.
13 points, and he takes his time with the three-pointers. It's not like a quick release. He cranks it up. Give him time, give him space, and he will knock that three down. And he's said that 13 points to go along with his 8 assists for Cam Holden, and 4 rebounds.
Well, a 6-0 run to start this fourth quarter, courtesy of a pair of back-to-back threes by the Flyers. There's a look at those fast break numbers. Bristol really have gone off to the races in this second leg. And now Bristol just over 9 minutes away perhaps from securing their place in the semi-finals. Still plenty of time for Manchester here to mount a comeback. Well, the referee just stopping play here because the shot clock was late to start. They're going to shave off another couple of seconds, I think. They're going to put it down to 17. I just overheard, I believe.
So I'm just trying to listen in here to something.
A quick break in play while the officials talk to the table officials here. I think they're going to shave off some game clock as well, perhaps, is what I'm overhearing. But here's a look at your leading scorers in this one so far. Will Yoakum, of course, 18 points, all 18 of those coming in the first half. Had a quiet second half, but the rest of the team, specifically Cam Holden, have really stepped up, in the second half.
Yeah, that's right. Well, obviously, Yoakum would have been top of the conversation in the Manchester halftime break, and his ability to kind of score the basketball. So yeah, not had too many looks at the basket, but other players sort of stepping up. Holden getting involved with the action. Yeah, McCormack, he's on 10 points. Holden 13 points. Cam Christon 9. Zach Anderson 8. And for Manchester, Donovan Mitchell 15. Smith Jr. 14. Max Jones 14.
Now here's Johnson, guarded by Holden. Irvin looking to set the screen. Ball goes to Jones. Jones up against Brown. Jones drives middle. Turn around, tough fade away too. No. Holden with the rebound. He's in trouble here though, able to get the pass out to Anderson. Manchester are scrambling on defense. And the rebound ends up in the hands of Jones. Here comes Mitchell. Johnson stomps on a dime, pulls up for three, drains the three. And that's one thing with this Manchester team. They've got the individual players who could carry them to a comeback, perhaps.
It's a great shot. Johnson just steps into that. That takes his tally to 10.
Hands by Aditokasi. And Aditokasi, coast to coast, jams it in. And the ball came off the official there as well. Perhaps was trickling out of play. Coach Kapoulas furious.
There's not much you can do there. That's just one of those unfortunate things. Getting the assist off the referee at such a crucial time. Nothing much you can do. Got a big flush from Aditokasi.
Well, Manchester, just like that, have cut the gap down. But Cam Holden, the other end, extends it with the layup. Johnson. Another three ball on the way. Yes! Johnson drains it. And Jordan Johnson says this series is not done yet.
Certainly not. Back-to-back threes from him. Again, just sizes up how he wants to attack the defender. Give him plenty of space. Knocks down that three.
Holden winds up from deep. No three that time. Gets it out to Cam Christon, though, who draws the foul. And Cam Christon will go back to the line to shoot two here.
What a game. What a two games.
I mean, just when you felt that Bristol have really built a cushion Manchester, the blink of an eye, a couple of back-to-back threes from Johnson, able to cut it back. And right now, as it stands, tied on aggregate at 166.
Yeah, 5 assists for Jordan Johnson to go with his 10 points. Big-time player.
Kristen able to knock down the first. That gives Bristol the lead in aggregate once again. I asked you in the third quarter, Gareth, at what point do you look at the aggregate? I think this is the time.
I'm looking at it. I think everyone's looking at it. But there's still so much time to go. As you mentioned, Joel, just within a couple of plays, the game's turned around again. Manchester with the momentum right now.
Kristen splits the free throws, and Manchester now a chance to retake the lead in aggregate. Johnson, another 3-ball on the way. This time no good, as he overcooks it. Perhaps a heat check from him, but an offensive rebound by Manchester. Jones, extra pass, Mitchell, good D by the Flyers, and they come up with the steal. And a reach-in foul on Jordan Johnson. That'll be a second team foul against Manchester.
Yeah, able to stop that transition. That's probably not a bad foul. Once more, similar to Thursday night, transition defense for Manchester. Flyers really capitalising, able to push the ball. Many sort of turnovers and rebounding opportunities. Johnson there, just going to reach in. And here comes Cam Holden.
Under 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Holden. JB pops out to the three-point line, and Holden turns it over. And added to Cassie again, looking to push, but good transition defense by the Flyers. Jones back out to add to Cassie. Here's Johnson once again. Johnson being guarded by Anderson here. Looking to blow past his defender, puts it up. No good that time, looking for a foul. Nothing called by the officials. Ball lobbed up to Kristen, and Kristen puts it in. And once again, Bristol turning defense into offense. Coach Matthew Otten furious, looking for a foul, but Bristol, as you spoke about a few moments ago, Gareth, capitalising off turnovers and transition points.
Yeah, just getting back on defence, the transition defence. Manchester like to come out and break, but getting back on D off the turnovers. 23 points on the fast break, and as I mentioned, it was similar on Thursday night. That had a bit of an Achilles heel for Manchester, getting back on transition, and Flyers capitalising on it.
Well, timeout call by Manchester Basketball. Still plenty of time for them to mount a comeback. Look at the points in the paint as well, evenly spread between the two teams. It really has been those transition points, those fast break points, that have been the difference maker in this second leg this afternoon.
And the Flyers still shooting the ball really well from behind the arc after that. Not so great first quarter, but they're shooting 12 of 23, 52% from behind the arc. Slowed up a little bit for Manchester there, 10 of 28, so 35% from behind the arc. If Bristol really turn around that field goal percentage from that first quarter. Rebound battle as well. Bristol Flyers winning that one, 36 to 27. 23 assists to Manchester's 12. So the stats favouring Bristol at the moment. But of course the most important one is the score.
Now both sets of teams back out on the court. It's going to be added to Cassie to get us back underway here. Quarter place it.
I was just saying, Joe, Ossaboy, and again, we haven't seen much of him. I don't know if we've seen him at all in the second half. Just 3 minutes, 54 for him in this game.
He played 6 minutes on Thursday night as well in that first leg, and almost like this, you almost feel that defensively is where Manchester could win this game. Jones for three, drains it. They could win this game on offense as well, with players like Max Jones knocking down the three. Ties it on aggregate.
Certainly have the firepower. That's 17 points personal for Max Jones.
Anderson, screen from Brody. Brody rolls to the basket. Anderson off the foot of Ander Takasi. It will be a Flyers ball. And these last 5 minutes, or 5 to 6 minutes or so, coming down to the wire. Brody, Anderson, thought about the three. Looking for Brody inside. Gets it back to Anderson. Has to shoot with the shot clock winding down. down. And Zach Anderson, right on cue, drains it.
That was a big bucket for Bristol. I'm just going to say big play after big play as both these teams trying to secure that spot in the semi-final.
Ball goes out to Johnson here, guarded by Holden. Mitchell fires up a three. No. And the rebound ends up with Cam Holden. As we trickle past the midway point now in this fourth quarter. Anderson just made 1-3. This time takes it inside. Can't get it to go. And Jones comes away with it, looking for Johnson in transition. Johnson can't get the finish. Looking for a foul. And now Bristol can push in transition. Anderson's three, no good. What a wild sequence from both of these teams. Jones looking to put it up. Put it in! Count it, and the foul. Max Jones will go to the line for a bonus.
I said earlier on, just big play after big play. This time Max Jones on the break, going coast to coast, gets the foul and the finish. What a play.
And now Jones a chance to tie this game up, series up on aggregate, up to 19 points now to lead the way for Manchester. Coming off the bench as well this afternoon. Jones gets it to go, and the three-point play is good, and once again it's a three-point lead for Bristol, but it's tied on aggregate. Anderson, Brody has it down low, guarded by Shelton. Darnell Brody backing down, who like this matchup here. Darnell Brody, no foul given inside, good hands by Shelton, and Manchester can push the other way. Johnson. Still with Johnson, now Jones. Guarded by Yoakum. Jones tries middle, Euro step, floats it up, floats it in, gets the friendly roll. And Manchester back on top by 2 on aggregate.
Yeah, Max Jones up to 23 now. Feels like he's taking responsibility to try and get this done for Manchester basketball.
Holden finds Brown. Brown for three. Is fouled. Count it, and one. Jonathan Brown will go to the line for a 4-point play.
Big play after big play. It keeps on coming. JB this time coming off the handoff. You just see it time and time again. You have to be so careful when closing out on the shooter. JB gets it to go.
And that is a big time play from Jonathan Brown. You can see what it means to him. And now, with Bristol on top by 1 here on aggregate, has a chance to extend it to 2. And no mistakes from Brown. Completes the 4-point play. 5-point lead on the afternoon here for the Flyers. 2 on aggregate. Ball goes into Shelton. Shelton backing down to McCormack. Fakes it once, twice, puts it in. And Duke Shelton, the veteran with the experience. And could that be crucial as this series comes to a conclusion here? Here's Holden. Holden, another 3 ball. This time is short. Added to Cassie with the rebound. Manchester a chance to retake the lead on the series here. Ball goes into Shelton again. Oh, it's blocked by Holden, but a foul. It will be a foul called on Cam Holden, and Duke Shelton will go to the line for 2.
Yeah, it was worth a gamble there from Holden. But Shelton, yeah, coming alive in this fourth quarter. Pick and roll after pick and roll. And Holden with the foul. Coach Kapoulis with a timeout. But Holden doesn't like the call.
Well, I think everyone needs a bit of a breather here. End-to-end stuff, all tied up at 176 on aggregate. It is right now, and when we come back, it will be a pair of free throws coming up for Duke Shelton. And Gareth, this is the moment here where the veteran players on the team, some of the players who have perhaps been in this situation before, really will earn their paycheck. Just look at the last 3 scores, and nothing coming easy now between these two teams. There's a huge 3 by JB and the foul after Jones hit that tough floater, and then Duke Shelton again, defenders all over him here really, somehow gets that one to go off the glass. Now shoot a pair of free throws, the chance to put Manchester back on top here once again.
Cam Holden, 4 fouls for him. Of course, can't rule out overtime either, Joel, if we're all tied up on aggregate.
Yeah, if it does end with a 3-point win on the in the game here for Bristol, this series will go to overtime. So, yeah, fasten your seatbelts, folks. It's going to be an extremely tense 3 minutes or so. One of these teams will punch their ticket to the semi-finals, and the other, their season will come to an end here this afternoon. Shelton makes no mistakes on the first free throw. Shelton, 76% from the line this season in SLB. Goes 2 for 2. Now Manchester with a 2-point lead on aggregate. Holden, nowhere to go, looking for Yoakum inside, ends up with him. Defense collapses, good hands by Johnson, gets the block, and it will trickle out of bounds for a Bristol Flyers ball.
Another really good play from Johnson this time, denying Yoakum underneath the bucket. And that's a big play on the defensive end.
Holden to inbound here, looking for Yoakum. Here's Will Yoakum, 18 first half points, yet to score in the second half. Shot clock winding down, Anderson has to shoot, Anderson knocks it down. Incredibly tough too. Ball in quickly for Manchester. Here's Johnson, good transition defense by the Flyers. Shelton with the screen, Johnson with the step back 3. It's going to be a foul by McCormack. And Jordan Johnson is down here holding his ankle. This is not good for Manchester.
And I've got to say, it's a definite foul as McCormack was closing out. You could just see it almost coming. As Johnson went up for the 3, McCormack just stepped underneath him. Now John, have a look at it here.
Johnson with that step back 3, and yeah, you see it. Yeah. Landing space foul.
And that's the reason why that is a foul, because Johnson landing on the feet there and potentially rolling his ankle.
Oh, Johnson quickly walks back to his feet. He just undid his shoe, tied it up even tighter. So you do wonder there perhaps if he hurt himself there, but with moments like this is where his team need him most. And Jordan Johnson now 3 free throws here. Chance to tie up the game on the afternoon. No mistakes on the first free throw for Johnson. 14 points, 7 assists so far in this one. Been a fantastic game from him. Knocked down some big shots when it mattered most. Second one also good, gets the friendly roll. And now a chance to put his side on top by 3 here. Drains the third. 2.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. The game is tied up, but Manchester lead by 3 on aggregate. Holden. Holden finds McCormack. McCormack fakes it, puts it on the floor. Holden thought about the 3, drives inside, 5 on the shot clock. Yoakum, baseline 3. Overcooks it, great box out by Manchester, and the rebound is secured by Irvin. And now Manchester a chance to extend their lead here. They'll want to use every second out of this game clock. Johnson, guarded by Yoakum. Jordan Johnson, another 3 ball on the way. Jordan Johnson drains it. Timeout called by Bristol Flyers, and Jordan Johnson once again, when it matters most, a crucial 3 Timeout Flyers.
And you could see the bench, Manchester bench, trying to get the ball in his hands as well. Come and get the ball. And that is the reason why Manchester wanted the ball in his hands. And that is a clutch 3-point play. Still plenty of time, but this just gives himself that bit of separation, that pull back, and nothing but net.
Really has put the team on his back in this extra period, knocking down huge threes when required. Now, timeout called by Bristol Flyers. Manchester leading by 6 on aggregate, 3 points on the afternoon. And Bristol with 1:45 to go in this one. You feel that they pretty much have to be perfect from here on out if they want a chance to force overtime or come away with a series win here.
Yeah, it's going to have to get something on the offensive end, get a good look. It just seems the last couple of offense got a bit sticky and not really knowing where the shot was coming from. And Manchester capitalised on that, and they knew exactly where that shot was coming from. They knew exactly who they wanted the ball and whose hands they wanted it. Johnson delivering the goods. 6 point up now, 6 points up on the tie.
1:45 to go here. Manchester leading by 6 on aggregate. Flyers must score on this possession. Anderson into a double. Skip pass to Joachim on the wing. Joachim puts it on the floor. Joachim out to Holden. And Joachim steps on the baseline. And Manchester get the stop they needed.
Now Bristol need to get a stop. They're going to pick up with a full court pressure, but Irvin happy to take the ball and pass it back to the man of the moment.
Minute and a half to go here. Here's Johnson. Started by Brown. Shelton with the screen. Johnson now swings to Max Jones. Max Jones for 3 is short. Brown with the rebound. Flyers can push. There's a foul by Manchester to stop the transition bucket. Cam Christen comes back in. Looks like Will Joachim is the one who's going to make way for him. It's going to be Flyers to inbound here from the sideline. That was the 4th team foul on Manchester, so now they're in the penalty the rest of the way. Brown to put it in, gets it into Holden. McCormack thought about the 3. Holden has it. They need to put it up quick here, Bristol. Anderson, step back, 3 ball on the way, no. And a rebound secured by Johnson. And Matthew Otten saying to his team, just hold it up here as we trickle past the final minute of the 4th quarter. Manchester leading by 6 on aggregate here. Manchester with Jones. Jones goes past McCormack. Jones to the bucket. That could be the dagger. Max Jones with the 2 off the glass. And that is a huge play from Manchester. Yeah. And could that be the moment where Manchester secure their place to the semi-finals?
Just a bit too easy for me there. We see how effective Manchester have some fouling there, but Jones able just to weave in and out and get the layup. Put him on the line, make him earn those 2. Swoops in, and that really gives Bristol an awful lot to do now.
Now, final 37 seconds to go here. Brown drives left, puts it in. Quick score by Bristol. And Manchester just need to get it in here, really. Final 30 seconds of this 4th quarter. There's the foul by Christen. That'll be the 4th team foul on the Flyers, so Manchester will inbound from the sideline.
Cam Christen's 4th foul.
It's going to be Irving to put it in from the side. PJ Smith getting set to check back in. Irving takes a seat. And Jones will inbound here for Manchester. And really, they just need to see the clock out here, and they'll have their ticket secured to the semi-finals. Ball goes into Smith. Smith downhill, guarded by Joachim. Pulls it back out. Coach Kapoulas calling for a foul, asking his team to foul Smith. Able to play keep ball. And again, splits the defense. There is the foul by Christen. That's going to be his 5th. So Christen, his game will be done.
And that was just a massive breakdown in communication. 4 seconds left on the shot clock, just left it way too late to foul. If you're going to foul, it needs to be quick. Manchester benefiting of the shot clock being run down and get a trip to the line.
So Cam Christen's afternoon is done, and probably his season as well. 12 points in this second leg. 13 seconds to go. Manchester a chance really to ice this game. And what a second leg it has been, really. Bristol just thrown everything at Manchester. And Manchester, with their quality, have found a way to advance to the semi-finals.
Yeah, some big individual plays from Manchester. Johnson, Jones really coming big, and Flyers able to respond. They had that lead. And then just maybe a few turnovers at the wrong time. And some big plays from Manchester, really changing that momentum. And Manchester, really just a matter of time now to see this one out.
Smith knocks down the second. Coach Kapoulis burns his final timeout. And they need a lot of things to go right for him here, Bristol, if they want any chance, really. This series looks wrapped up. Manchester 8 points ahead on aggregate, 188 points to 180. And it is they who will move on to the semi-finals, where they'll likely face Cheshire Phoenix, who have their big lead over Surrey, unless there's a dramatic turnaround in that series at Ellesmere Port at 5:30 p.m. this afternoon.
Yeah, it's going to take time. I'm not sure what's more unlikely, that one or this one here. I think both are looking like, but you never know. You know, we've seen some great things here at SGS, but 8 points down, 13.6 seconds. As you said, Joel, to get a really quick three, foul, missed free throws, another quick three, foul. There's a lot that needs to happen right now, but what a game we've been treated to. A fantastic game Thursday night, and this afternoon game here Sunday in Bristol.
Don't forget that game, Cheshire versus Surrey, tips off at 5:30, and then at 7 p.m. you can also watch the second leg of Newcastle versus London. 13 seconds to go in this one then. Flyers looking to inbound. They get it into Anderson. Anderson guarded by Johnson. Anderson puts it up. It's going to be a travel called against Zach Anderson. And Manchester get the ball back here, and all they really need to do is get the ball over the timeline, and they will punch their ticket to the semi-finals. Ball goes into Smith. Smith splits the defense, gets it up over to Johnson, and that will do it. The buzzer sounds here in Bristol. Manchester Basketball are through to the semi-finals. They came into this second leg with a narrow advantage, and they've done just enough over the two games to see it out. Credit to Bristol. They threw everything at it this afternoon, but Manchester's quality and their composure across the tie proved the difference. The third seed moves on, and Manchester win the second leg, 90 points to 85 over the Bristol Flyers.
Yeah, what a fourth quarter from Manchester, 30-point quarter for them, leaving their highest scoring quarter to the last, at the most important time, you would say, and some really unbelievable individual performances. Mac Jones and Jordan Johnson take full plaudits there in that fourth quarter. Some real daggers in there for Bristol, and they were unable to recover. Offense got a little bit sticky, some big plays from Manchester, and we wish them well in the next round.
Well, they will meet the likely winner of the Cheshire Phoenix versus Surrey matchup, so they wait a little bit longer to have their semi-final opponents confirmed. Coach Matthew Otten there, very happy to survive on the road here in Bristol, in a tough place to play as well. Coach Kapoulis having a few final words here with his team, and I'm sure he'll be pleased with his side's performance, the resilience, everything they threw at Manchester just wasn't quite enough for his side to see the tie through this afternoon.
Yeah, we talk about sort of small margins, and they had a couple of turnovers at the wrong time, some big plays from Manchester, really sort of just tipped the game on its head a little bit in Manchester's favour. But it is that small detail, a few kind of loose passes, just really costing Bristol in the end. But came back, it was a poor first quarter from Bristol, but really rallied back, shot the lights out from behind the arc. to get themselves back in the game. But ultimately, that's the end of the season now for Bristol Flyers as Manchester progress to the next round.
Well, Manchester, they fell short in the SLB Cup final. They fell short in the EMBL final. They've taken one step closer to the playoff final here today in Bristol. There's a look at your final numbers on this one this afternoon. We take a look at some of the key highlights from this game, and really what a game it was. I mean, Bristol exploded with that second quarter. They outscored Manchester 34 points to 22 in the third, but down the stretch, players like Jordan Johnson with some incredibly clutch shooting down the stretch was able to see his team to the next round.
Yeah, and from a Bristol point of view, weren't able to have a response to plays like this from Jordan Johnson, really taking that responsibility and executing and really putting the pressure on the Bristol Flyers defence, but also the offence as well. Got a bit sticky on the offensive end, and the likes of Johnson, Max Jones making some big plays, which is like good. And JB made that 3-and-1 play. But Manchester able to come up with some big plays, and that one there, as Jones just goes to the basket to lay it in. Really the game to bed for Manchester basketball.
Now, Max Jones 24 points to lead his team to the next round. And they'll have to wait a little while longer to find out who their opponent will be. There's the latest in the Sheffield versus Leicester game. You can go and flick that one right now on DAZN. Make sure you stick with us here on DAZN. A whole day of second leg action in the SLB playoff quarter finals. Well, that's going to do it here for our coverage this afternoon, and our coverage for the season. Bristol Flyers falling short to Manchester basketball in the second leg of the playoff quarter-finals. Manchester move on, and Bristol, their season is over. For for Gareth Till, I'm Joel Osborne saying so long, and we'll see you next time.
Super League basketball is levelling up British youths. This isn't just a league, it's a movement you can feel and see in the stands. From the first tip to the final buzzer, the story is written. Every drive, every shot, and every moment. Rivalries run deeper, games hit harder. One pass, one dunk, everything can shift. Legacies aren't given here, they're earned. New stories are ready, and new champions are coming. Season 2 is here. Stand tall for British basketball.